Hi everybody, welcome back to the Joy of Trucking. This episode is about the scales, weighing your load, making sure you're safe. You may recall from school, when you're driving an 18-wheeler, a semi-truck, you have limits for each axle that make it safe to drive your truck. So for your steering axle, the two front wheels, your limit is 12,000 pounds. Then the drive axles, in this case it's a set of tandem drive axles on this Kenworth, your limit is 34,000 pounds. And your trailer tandem axles is another 34,000 pounds. So if you add them all up, it comes to 80,000 pounds. So the maximum weight of this vehicle with cargo and everything, fuel and everything, is 80,000 pounds. And it has to be distributed between those 3 points according to the numbers I gave you. The reason for that is it makes it safer to operate the vehicle and also doesn't overload the road itself or bridges and so on. So what I've got today is 44,000 pounds in the trailer. The place where I picked up an hour ago did not have scales for me to check the weight of the load and the distribution between the different points or axles. So we pulled in here at a truck stop and drove the truck onto their scales. The scales are made up of different sections, so each section is weighing the different axles. Roll the window down and a guy on a speaker says, "Is this your first scale?" In other words, if I don't like the way it looks, I can make an adjustment, get back on the scale and do a second or even a third time. So you can check that you've adjusted properly. This was my first time. So then he got my truck number and the company I work for, and he wants the trailer company. And then I would pull off the scales so somebody else can use them. And don't park in front of the scales so somebody else can get off, and go find a parking place and go into the building to the fuel desk where they have my scale ticket, and they will have the information, my truck number and my trailer number, and it will have the different weights. I don't know if you can read down here. It's very, very faint, but I can read it to you. So my 44,000 pound load. I also have a gauge on the dashboard here that tells me the suspension load on my drive tandems. And I know if that gauge gets to 60, I'm really pushing it. I could be over. So I'm always looking at that gauge when I take on a load. Even if I know, if it's only like a 30,000 pound load, if that gauge is over 60, that means they've put all the weight at the front and there's hardly any weight on the back axles. And that happened to me once. I pulled into a DOT scale and I was 1,800 pounds over on my drives, and I could not slide my tandems anymore to take the weight off the drives. So I wound up getting a ticket. What happened to a friend of mine recently was he had too much weight on his tandems on the trailers, and he was over 4,000 pounds over. His ticket was like $3,000. My ticket was 85 bucks. So the more the weight is, the higher the fine. It goes up like exponentially. It's not by the pound. There's a certain level where it just jumps really high. What I've got here with this load on my steer axles, 11,600 pounds, so I'm under 12,000. My drives, 30,800 pounds, so it's under 34,000. And my trailer tandems at 34,500, which means I have too much weight on the trailer tandem. So what I gotta do is slide the tandem axles of the trailer farther back on the trailer, which puts more weight on the drive axles of the tractor. So you go back there, pull that handle out, lock it, and then you come back up here, you push in the parking brake for the tractor, which is the yellow knob, and you would, what I do is reverse it first just to kind of unlock those pins, and then I'll start moving forward, try to gauge the distance I have to go. I only got to move about 2 holes. Okay, the pins lock into a series of holes on the racks. I only got to move 2 holes, and then I'm gonna go back and look to see if I'm in the right position. If I am, you release that handle and then move the truck a little bit so that the pins drop into place and they're secured. So moving just 2 holes, they say that 1 hole will give you about a 500 pound difference. I got to go a little more than that. And I've got a lot of leeway. I could move 3 or 4 holes if I wanted to and still be all right. I've only got 30,800 on the tractor, 34,500. I really only have to move about 540 pounds. So I'll go 2 or 3 holes, make sure I get that, and then I'll also check this gauge again just to make sure it doesn't go over 60. That would mean I've probably gone too far. I put too much weight on the tractor. That's it. That's the procedure. So that's how we do our scaling and making sure that our truck is legal on all axles. Much. I hope you got something from this. If you did, give us the old thumbs up, and I want to see your comments down below. And don't forget to hit that old subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.